Hey everyone. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story that's been trending all over the US. It's a chilling tale about a quiet neighborhood, mysterious disappearances, and something sinister lurking in the shadows. This story involves 5 people, including me, and by the end of it, you'll never look at your neighbors the same way again. So, turn off the lights, grab a blanket, and let's dive into the mystery of the vanishing neighbors. My name's Emily, and this happened last fall in a small town in Ohio. I lived in a quiet cul-de-sac with 4 other neighbors. Sarah, the single mom next door, Mark and Lisa, the retired couple across the street, and Jake, the college student who lived in the basement apartment of Sarah's house. Everything was normal until the night Sarah's dog went missing. It started with a sound, a low, guttural growl that echoed through the neighborhood. Sarah heard it first and texted our group chat, asking if anyone else had heard it. Mark and Lisa said they'd heard it too, but Jake and I hadn't. We all brushed it off as a stray animal. But the next morning, Sarah's dog, Max, was gone. His leash was still tied to the porch, but the collar was broken, like something had yanked him free with terrifying strength. That's when the first note appeared. Sarah found it taped to her front door. It was written in jagged, almost childlike handwriting. "You shouldn't have let him out." We all thought it was a prank, maybe Jake messing around, but Jake swore it wasn't him. And then 2 days later, Mark and Lisa's cat disappeared. Another note appeared, "They're watching you." This time, it was taped to Mark and Lisa's mailbox. We started to get nervous. Who was doing this, and why? That's when Jake suggested we set up cameras. He had a few from his old security job, and we agreed to monitor the street. What we caught on camera still haunts me to this day. We couldn't make out who or what it was, but the figure seemed wrong. Its movements were too fast, too fluid, like it wasn't entirely human. The next night, Sarah vanished. She didn't answer her phone, and her car was still in the driveway. When we went to check on her, her front door was wide open. Inside, the house was freezing cold, and the walls were covered in strange symbols drawn in what looked like charcoal. On the kitchen table was another note, "You're next." We called the police, but they found nothing. No signs of a struggle, no fingerprints, nothing. It was like Sarah had just disappeared. Mark and Lisa were terrified. They packed their bags and decided to stay with their daughter in another town. But before they left, Lisa pulled me aside and said something I'll never forget. "Emily, I think it's the house. There's something wrong with it." She was talking about the house at the end of the cul-de-sac. It had been empty for years, but lately, I'd noticed lights flickering in the windows at night. Jake and I decided to investigate. What we found inside that house still gives me nightmares. In the basement, we found a room filled with photos. Photos of us, Sarah, Mark, Lisa, Jake, and me. They were taken from outside our houses, through our windows, even inside our homes. And then we heard it, the growl. It was coming from upstairs. We ran, but as we reached the front door, Jake stopped. He turned to me, his face pale, and said, "Emily, what if it's not a person? What if it's something?" The next day, Jake was gone. His apartment was empty, his phone left on the bed. And on the wall, written in the same jagged handwriting, was a single word, "Soon." I moved out that same day. I couldn't stay there, not after everything that had happened. But before I left, I saw something that made my blood run cold. The house at the end of the cul-de-sac. It wasn't empty anymore. Through the window, I saw a figure standing there, watching me. And as I drove away, I could have sworn I heard that growl again, echoing through the neighborhood. I don't know what happened to Sarah, Jake, or the others. The police never found them. But I do know this. If you ever see a house like that, one that feels wrong, don't go inside. Because whatever's inside might not let you leave. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've ever experienced something like this, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling tales. Oh, and one last thing. If you hear a growl tonight, don't look out the window. Good night.